Hey, what's up, everybody? So I put out a video yesterday, but my phone really didn't upload it until midnight last night. So you're probably seeing it maybe this morning, and already the price has changed. So you can see, looking here at Theta, it's doing exactly what probably thought it would do, which is what? You have an A, right? You have a three-way move up for a B, and then you come down and flag out for a C. So that's exactly what we were talking about yesterday. I think maybe the video was too long and it's just not enough processing power, especially because I was using other computing power with other things going on. But essentially, right, the idea was either this is going to flag out and we're going to go up, which didn't seem too likely, considering where Bitcoin is at, right? Or this was going to be an a B, and let's come down for a C, maybe even backtest down in here, right? And then go up and get that sort of shoulder that you would expect, right? So that's kind of how I'm viewing the market right now. Same thing with SHIB. You kind of got this little rising wedge. It would make sense for us to come down before going higher, right? If it gets my entries around here, so if I get stopped out, then it is what it is. But hopefully I don't. We'll see. But for Monero's still pumping. Monero still looks very much alive, healthy, and well. I mean, it looks pretty nice, to be honest. You kind of have a five-wave move, though. So this could be a retrace. You could get something like this, right, over the next period of time. But XRP, you got this kind of this weird looking three-wave move, and then you came down and you slammed the low. So I'm wondering if this is kind of like a Wyckoff situation in here, right? Before going into A, maybe we haven't even gone into B yet before we get C and then go, right? That could be a situation, right? Or we could just kind of do what that fractal suggests and kind of just grind our way out of there. So we'll see. But other than that, everything's doing all right. We have let's take a look here. So Bitcoin, right? We were talking about Bitcoin as well. We got 7 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Usually when that happens, you're going to get some kind of pullback. So if we look closely at the smaller time frames, this looked like yesterday, I believe we were somewhere in here. It looked actually decent, right? You had kind of 3 down, you had 3 up, and then you had 3 back down, right? You kind of had this little running flat. It looked like it was going to come up and hit the high, but you got slammed down. So, but that's fine, right? We still have plenty of waves here. So, this could also be just, coming up, reset, right? Or coming up, reset, come up, reset, come up, reset. Maybe we're coming down to reset before coming up again, right? Kind of like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before we get that flag, right? That's just very real situation. Or it could be starting right now. It's like we talked about, for example, when we had this flat down, right? We came all the way up and we took the high by a little smidge and then we flagged out. Well, that's exactly what happened over here, right? You have this little flat here. You came all the way up. You took the high by a smidge. Why would you take the high? Because you have a lot of liquidity up there. If you look at like the CME and all the futures, and there was a lot of volume coming in here, right? So this could be marking the top for Bitcoin, right? So to me, you got this. Let's look at the daily here. This could very well be the top for liquidity purposes, right? You rampage to the upside and you take out the liquidity. You get everybody bullish, and then that's when you take it down before then continuing the trend higher, right? So if we're expecting, a move, a flag, right? Then how does that translate to the altcoins? Well, if you look at like H bar here, you can see some kind of three-way move, right? And this could get three down, you can get three up, you can get three back down. It can become just a bigger, more time-induced three-wave move before then, continuing higher. So I'm thinking we have this to deal with before we get this. So you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got a little bit of a diag in here. So you kind of want to flag out a little bit, a counter wave to balance it out. Chain link, same thing with chain link, right? Trump. So Trump was, it still looks really good, but yesterday it was on the verge of a breakout, but the problem is nothing else was ready, right? So you had the rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation. You went sideways, you broke out, but then you came back quickly and now you're retesting. So, if this had to come back down to the low, then I would then look at it like that was a B wave, and it was just what threw it off was this long consolidation, but it would be a B wave because you would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A, 1, 2, 3 up for B, and then you have 1, you'd get 2, 3, 4, 5 down for C, and then go up. So that's the new idea that I'm thinking here. And that would make sense coming down because, Bitcoin looks like it needs to have a correction. So if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go. So, yeah, I got out of the trade. I was holding Trump in here, and then I got out. So I'm just waiting for a better entry. But I was in just in case it did want to go. But it could be it could be also that, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, and you came back down to retest 2. But I don't like the way it came down. It came down very fast. So it makes me think that it's not over. And I don't like it either because you have this bottlenecking in here. So you kind of have a drop, like a drop in bottleneck. You could pop up, but I think you got more down to come. So that's why, sometimes it just doesn't work out, you just gotta, maybe the timing was off, the structure. But it'll come back. It'll come back. So we'll look at Theta and ADA, but real quick, Dog looks kind of interesting here. It's didn't really have the same effect if I throw Theta on as well. You can see the difference, right? Dog is impulsing very quickly, right? So let me zoom out. So as you can see, Theta was kind of flat a little bit, but you can see Dog is really strong. Theta made a big move, right? It came down, and then it retraced, but the Dog took the high. So you can see I'm showing you the difference here on what strength looks like versus weakness. Now, to be fair, it's still in its bottoming process, and it still, has room to go. And I believe that Theta is going to continue to go up. So let's look at Theta real quick. And if we look at Theta, it's coming down. So when you look at Theta, it's like the same as, the other ones. Basically, you have this, this A wave, right? And then you have this B wave. And now it looks like we're coming down for C. And then we should continue the trend. So kind of like how we had this, right? And then that. So that's what I'm thinking. There's another idea too. I mean, you have 3 waves up, and then you get 3 waves down, right? And then you go up. So this could be like A, this could be B, and then we go up in C. So it'll be a bigger move. But that's basically it. Let's take a look at ADA. Haven't looked at this one in a minute. It still looks great. You have this downtrend here, or this flag. We are completely flagging out for ADA, and you can see that we have a very sharp impulse. We have 3 waves down, we have 3 waves up, and then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down. So that's an ABC right there. So it's done, right? And this right here is a 5-wave move off the low. And now we have, you could see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a diagonal. So that's a 1. This could be A, B, and then C. That would be a 2. And then once we get that, probably Sunday, Monday, probably next week would be a down week. And then bam, go up for wave 3. Right? So we probably have a little bit of downside. How long would that downside last? It could last all week if we started from here and I just trying to draw it out. I mean, well, this is saying, let's see, so Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So that's 1 week right there. That's already 1 week, right? So if I go out a little bit further, that might be a week and a half. So you're probably looking at maybe a week and a half just from a structure. Timing is always very hard. Because for all we know, this could come down like this and come up. And this could be a complex B, right? It could be some kind of B wave like this, right? And then we come down. And it can take so much longer. Boom, boom, boom. It could be bigger too. So I'm guesstimating based off previous structures what it could look like. But I'd like to move it right there. It would be better. So yeah, you kind of got this broadening wedge here. So, but there you go, total 3. Same thing with total 3. I mean, you have 1, 2. This looks like another 1, 2. Maybe another 1, 2 here. You get an ABC, a back test of that inverse head and shoulders here. I'm expecting this to come down and retest this line. And then continue. So, because Bitcoin looks like it needs a correction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, you got a lot of waves there. So yeah, let's see how it plays out. Now, it could be that the bear market has just begun. And that would be the ultimate bearish case, which is it's a little complicated, but basically what it is you have A, B, and then a C. This is an expanded flat here for a wave 2, right? But I don't like it as a wave 2 because, you could say it's a wave 2. You could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that could be a wave 1. That could be a wave 2, but it can't be a wave 2. Why? Because it took the high. It took the high, so it cannot be a wave 2. So you could look at it like, you could still look at it as a flat, right? So you have that as a flat, this as a flat, 3 down, 3 up, and then you would get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, something like that, right? And it becomes like a big range in here, right? A, B, and C, right? And it takes until all the way to the end of the year before it goes on to a real super cycle, right? Now you can say, well, that's bad, but it actually will, you'll actually make up for it later on if we had to go through something like that. But yeah, either way you slice it and dice it, we now have 7 waves here now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and technically we do have 7 here. So we don't have much time left for Bitcoin. So it's going to be interesting how these altcoins fare under a very heavy Bitcoin, right? So, like if you look at Chainlink, is this a 3-wave retrace, right? This could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A. You have a 3-wave B, right? And now this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down for C. We're going to crash and burn before we go much, much higher. And that could last another year and a half or so, right? Hopefully that's not the case. But, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, look at this. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So what's stopping it from being an ABC and having to come down over the next several years? Could be. That's why I like XRP, because XRP to me is in a better spot. It's not dealing with a retrace like everything else is. Everything else is dealing with a retrace. Whereas XRP is on the verge of a breakout, right? So I guess the worst case scenario for XRP would be coming down to backtest this level. But I just don't see that right now. So we just have to wait and let it play out. But yeah, XRP, we have this 3-wave move down. You got a 3-wave move up. Now I'm expecting it to kind of flag out before we gear up for the next move. Same thing with SHIB. It doesn't look like down would be the direction. It looks like you have this 1-year 3-wave pullback, bullish divergence all over the place, super bearish sentiment, while Bitcoin's at an all-time high, even though Google search engines, Coinbase app is down on the rankings. And so people are getting complacent and just kind of, waiting to see. But yeah, if we can create a base down here and get back going, get back up, you could see it 3 up, 3 down, and then 5 up becomes a bigger 3. So Monero, that's why I like Monero so much. It looks great. Look at this floor. You got a big, super strong table, right? You got a big floor, a big foundation. And that's why it's building and it's growing, right? So, yeah, this is the type of chart that convinces me that we're still going to continue. So, let's take a look at something else. As far as like ICP goes, there's really 2 ideas here, and not just for ICP, but for everything else. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do we have another wave down, right, before we retrace, or Are we building a base now and then going to retrace? Either way, I think a retrace is coming. Now it appears that the low would be in. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. But you know how third waves can be. Third waves can be tricky, right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 for the third. Then you have 4, then you have 5. 1, 2, all of that's 3, 4, 5. So yeah, I think the low, you have the correct amount of waves, but you have this 3-wave move here, and I don't like that. You know, it needs to be 5, not 3. So you could say that this is 1, 2, 1, 2. So this could be a 1, 2, 1, 2 before we go up for that third. That would be the bullish way to look at it. The bearish way, you have 3 down or 3 up, right? This could come down for the 5th, or you get 3 down and then continue, right? So we're gonna wait. We gotta wait and see. AVAX. Yeah, it just seems like you had a dump, a retrace. Maybe you need another wave down like this, right? Create that base in here. So that looks like a 1, 2, 1, 2. So either way, I'm expecting higher prices for the retrace. I just feel like this needs to flag out for a little bit alongside with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin looks like that as well. So other than that, everything looks okay. So anyways, let's see, is there anything else on here that we can look at? Yeah, you can see everything is down pretty big today. It is Friday, it's the end of the week. So we'll see what happens. Theta Fuel. Theta Fuel is not going to do anything special until Bitcoin is in price discovery, XRP, Theta, you know. Then we can see Theta Fuel, the extremely high risk coins, partaking in big gains, right? So you know, you got this move here that broke the low, but then it came back in here. So we really need to hold this line here. The good news is, you know, you got 3 waves down. So that wave should be finished, and we should at least get a 4 and then a 5, right? If it's going to keep going down, we should still see upside. All right, that should do it. Yeah, so all in all, I kind of want to see this flatten out a little bit, move down, and then continue up. So we'll see if that plays out. If not, then what else could it be? Well, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. What if we get 5? And then you come up and get 3. And then you have to come down in 5. And then it becomes a really big ABC. And then you go up all the way towards the end of the year. I mean, that could be the case as well, unfortunately. So hopefully not. Hopefully not. I don't think so, because you know, it's going to get too big, right? Relative to the wave 2. So it should be the low should be in now. So, all right, I will catch you guys. Remember, nothing here is financial advice. We're trying to figure things out and just look at it from a wave structure perspective. And but yeah, there's still, you know, like the bull market support band, right? We're still in the bull market support band. Let me check it for XRP here. Yeah, so you can see, right, XRP broke above the bull market support band. Now it's, as long as it stays in it and holds it, it looks good. Some of them, definitely Theta needs some work to get back to it. Bitcoin is clearly above it. So you could see the bull market support band is rising fast. So it could be that, what if we had to flag out into the bull market support band and test it before going up. So that could be a situation as well. As far as the sequential goes, look at that. You're on a 2-day 9. 2-day 9 sell. So look at that. Perfectly called the top. Well, we'll see if it's a top. I think it should be a top. You have a daily 6. You have a 3-day. You're also on a 3-day 6. You just had a 4-day 9, but you had 2 candles above it. So it didn't really work out. But look at the 5-day chart. You're about to hit a 9 in 2 days. So, and then the 8-day, there's nothing. 6. On the weekly, you're on a 5. So you got a little bit of wiggle room here. The first thing would be is from a weekly perspective, because the weekly candle is about to close in 2 days. Can we close above the all-time high here? Right? You have 2 weekly candles above. That's pretty good. Versus back over here, you had several weekly candles above, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, it kept popping above it and below it. So is that something? Is that gonna be something similar in here? Not as big, but similar. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But anyways, I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.